Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Christine here with my campaign guide for Thorgrim Grudgerbearer, who, out of the dwarf legendary lords in the game at the moment, he certainly is a good one. He's not as good as Malachi, and he's not as good as Grumbrindle, but I would say between him, Ungrim, and Forik, from a faction effects perspective, and certainly from a lord perspective, he is significantly better. Like, his skill line over here, like Right the Wrongs, which gives you unbreakable and perfect vigor when fighting against enemies with 1,000 grudges, is absurd. His hero capacity that you gain early on is significant. His control and growth to all provinces is very, very significant as well. And also High King, which gives you Age of Reckoning Grudge Seller army size +5, which you certainly can. It's a bit weird that it requires a level 8, considering, Ancient Bloodline, but I mean, you don't need to get it. So, like, if you're playing a Thorgrim campaign, you are going to get armies, Grudge Seller armies that are larger, more powerful, more versatile. It means that they can get more units. So that is a very significant benefit in his campaign. His faction effects. The diplomatic relations with dwarves is unimportant. The extra commandment strength in his campaign, very significant. If there is an issue with Thorgrim, is that unlike Ungrim, Grumbrindle, and Malachi, he doesn't have frozen climate. That is the principal downside in playing Thorgrim's campaign, because basically, even Ungrim, who doesn't have anywhere near the same level of lord power or faction power, certainly not the faction power, is actually better from the perspective of playing a long campaign, a very long campaign. Whereas Thorgrim is better for a shorter campaign. Like, I'd say it's, before it turns 60, you're better off playing Thorgrim. After that, it's gonna really favor Ungrim. Okay, so in this campaign, let's go over the steps you will want to make. First off, start with the trade agreement to Zufbar, get the money over there. Ignore Barak Var. Like, you could confederate Barak Var early on, but don't do so. Declare war on Khazrak, get both of these agreements, or at the very least, get the trading agreement with Karl Franz. You could pay for the military access right now. It might be worth it. Declare war on Tempelhof, because that will work out in your favor. And do consider what you're going to be doing with various other factions. But I would recommend not going into as many wars as you could over here. In terms of research, you will want to start getting yourself to High King authority. And basically, you want to get heavy cornerstones, Khazid, subsidies, rat poison. Now, let me talk about something very important. In terms of, like, upgrading, you don't want to upgrade your main settlement, and then you got to make a choice in every dwarf campaign between trading depot and trinket makers. Now, trinket makers will save you a lot of gold in the long run with construction costs. However, generating 10 oath gold per turn from trading depot can actually allow you to research things much faster, because you can get these upgrades for oath gold down much quicker, and crucially get access to the forge and use those forge items. I've personally used a lot of the trinket makers. Like, I've preferred getting the construction cost. But there is a point. Like Legend of Total War, for instance, when he was playing Malachi, he got a bunch of oath gold. Pros and cons. Depends on what you're dealing with and how much you value it. Now, a nice benefit for Thorgrim here is that he does, with the Gyro Bomber buff, he does have a lot of aerial power in his campaign. Like, basically, this unit alone could wipe out this entire army. And I am not exaggerating. Like, even unupgraded, these guys are very strong. Like, the damage they do, they may lack in ammunition, but the damage they do, the fact they slow movement speed, the fact they do firewall moving. Like, wounds is not great, and they should remove that because it was designed for a single entity, but still, between the bombs, all that. Now, for the purposes of the videos that I do that are campaign guides, I focus on the campaign stuff. The battles are irrelevancy. The key to winning battles is creating a situation where you can't lose it unless you play really badly. Now, Thorgrim does start with Grudge Seller hammers and Longbeards, which are both better units. Like, this battle, very, very easy to win. So I'm going to be auto-resolving. I'm using auto-resolve mods, and the thing you want to do in every dwarf campaign is go drink to victory. You want that experience benefit because it's going to allow you to get faster. So looking at the toggle fog war, we have Skarsnik over here. who is one of our main early objectives. Then we have Quick to the south, by the way. And not using console commands, that was just for some testing purposes. You want to get a Runt Marcher over here, and then you also want to increase mobility with your engineer. And then, yeah, just start taking these settlements. Dwarves did get the buff to their post-battle loot situation, though not necessarily in this case. So, okay. So, and then now open the caskets. We're going to get Mount Squighorn. We're going to get Karazakarak. What you want to recruit here are, you know, some miners with blasting charges are a good point. And then some Dwarf Warriors, probably the Grey Weapon variant, because with Skarsnik you're dealing with a lot of melee units, less so with respect to range units, and Goblin Archers are not capable of dealing with Dwarf Warriors early on. Unless they're in the hands of the player, but that's a different discussion altogether. It is, with the 15 turn benefit, you are no longer stressed out in terms of dealing with Skarsnik. Though it's worth pointing out that with Skarsnik, you do want to make sure you fight those battles. I'm not sure if this grudge would if you'd get the Master Rune of Spite if you wipe him out before that. So just bear in mind that when you're dealing with Skarsnik. Okay, so at this point I declared war on Skarsnik. I could have actually attacked him in the high pass earlier, but I just decided to recruit more units. Now over here, once you get to tier 2, you want to do the following. You want to get the Clan Barracks and upgrade your main economic building, get the diamonds, and then go fight the battle because you're going to need the money for all of this. Like, that's the reason why reducing construction costs, especially early on, can be such a significant benefit. By the way, if you encounter an army like this, an army situation like this, it's generally better to attack the army outside here. Now, over here I'm auto-resolving, but in this situation, if I was playing a proper campaign, like the reason you want to attack an army outside of the settlement, you will get the Oath Gold option. I have Gorog over here. Now, I would recommend not auto-resolving a battle like this because if you fight this manually, some of the army will get out and you will be able to get post-battle loot twice, and quite very crucially, you will be able to start stacking up even more towards your objective. Quite an important point to make. In terms of skills, I would recommend getting Thunder. You do want the extra ammunition benefit, get increased mobility. Recommend getting Requisition for the Engineer. Now, an interesting thing about Gorog, its duration can increase, I think, if you do take settlements, but only if you fight the battle for them. Now, over here, what do we want? Well, we already have an engineer, so what we want is a runesmith. You might ask, well, why aren't you getting yourself some fancy artillery costing? My answer to the question of artillery, why would I? Like, before the patch? Yeah, absolutely, undeniably so. I also don't need more units here, but like, yeah, let's just go for more stuff. Before the patch, absolutely, I would have gone for the artillery building, but at this point, it's just not important at all. Like, in any way, shape, or form. Just gonna get rid of these guys. The reason it's not important, the grudges will give you some artillery. So even if you royally screw up and only, you know, you will get Trump, right? So even if if you don't fill it up, you will get some artillery. Regiments are out. So there's no point in rushing the artillery until you've got like tier 3 building and you can get cannons. Like Grudge Throwers, Quarreler, Doomstack, thing of the past right now. There's also an argument to be made in favor of getting rid of your barracks and starting to get the Thunderer building. But at the same time, it does give you a feint, so don't underestimate like the power of magic or the power of heroes. So you can get every single dwarf hero with the exception of the Slayer, who does require you to get to a tier 3 building. So that's going to be your priority there. So right here, you know, you can fight the battle against Skarsnik earlier. Just make sure you minimize your losses until this point. For dwarves, that's very easy. For Thorgrim especially, so I'll use those Jar Bombers to nullify the enemy. Like, that's one of the reasons I don't fight these battles. Like, there's very few battles in a campaign that are actually interesting. Okay, so now I can declare war on the Red Eyes and get a bunch of grudges. Could be worth it. Okay, we got a quest battle over here. The Axe of Grimnir. Now, this is in itself also a fairly easy battle. Now, Gorog has still got 2 turns, so let's just go deal with that first. I think I would want to get more units here. Okay. Interesting. Rank 7 for that. Okay. Right, so that's all getting sorted out. We got one. Now, the nice thing about Forgrim's Grudge Battles is that they really do help you in terms of, like, it says heroic victory, but you don't, like, the Doom Divers, Gyro Bombers deal with them easily. The archers are not going to do a lot of damage. Like, the only thing that's dangerous are the Black Orcs, and Quarrelers and Hammerers will be able to deal with that. Over here, yeah, go and execute and loot unless you absolutely need replenishment. Get this sorted out. And when you take over a settlement with that, with Gorog, you do gain that extra bit, over there. Okay, so let's upgrade this. And over here, what we want to do is make sure we save those skill points. Get more requisition, because we, like, the ammo is more important at this point than the damage. That would be my argument. So now, I'm just going to wait for all of this to be constructed. I do ultimately also want to get Iron Drakes and Thunderers in my army, but I'm going to need another tier 2 settlement in order to get that. You can also get Grugni if you really want to save some money, but at this point, it's kind of not worth it, really. Like, although, you know, I could actually just start getting that right now because Rune Lord is pretty good. Thanes, like the Dwarf Lords, are pretty good. I would actually get the Dwarf Lord to lead that. But over here we do have a Demon Slayer. We got Grugni. So I think I'm just gonna, like, you may want to start this campaign over and over and over again until you get, like, a character that does have Grugni, just to increase, just to speed things up. So over here, yeah, we're just gonna go deal with Skarsnik. He's gained an extra level. Yeah, we do need to unlock that, by the way, because we do need Ancient Bloodline. It's a bit weird. It says requires rank 8, but it's like Ancient Bloodline requires rank 12. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, CA. Gotta admit that. Okay. So over here, Skarsnik is about to be wiped out. Now, something I want to point out, like I got the grudge against the Red Eye, but they got wiped out pretty quickly. So not really a great situation over there in terms of grudge generation at all. Like freaking at all. Okay, so over here we got a Thane. And we got the Runesmith that we're gonna get. So over here, same deal. I'm just gonna attack this army. The garrison, like, they're not gonna run away because they got the garrison right there. Now, here's something I want to point out. I know that there's a lot of battles that are tedious as hell to actually fight manually, but actually, if you fight this manually and kill them manually, as many of them as possible, you can get a lot more oath gold from execute and loot. I am not fond of that. It doesn't always happen, to be certain, but it happens enough. So Skarsnik, we got the Master Rune of Spite, which I am just going to equip over here because really powerful ability. Let's see if we got, yeah, we got an Archivist as well for Forgrim. And now he's rank 12, we get Ancient Bloodline, we get High King, we got extra hero capacity for all heroes. So we do want the engineering building, but not really right now. Actually, we can do something else. We can, now that we've gotten the runesmiths we want, get rid of that building and start getting gyrocopters. Because, like, gyrocopters, really good stuff. Right there, really, really good stuff. In terms of quarrelers, you want a combination of both. Like, it might seem not worth it to get the one with gray weapons, but personally, I'm of the perspective that a bit of a higher upkeep for the kind of flexibility they give you is useful. Getting, for Runesmith, Rune of Wrath and Rune, always a good choice. And over here, we want to get Empower the Guild. So we're getting a good amount of oath gold, subsidies. What do we do next? Well, that is really up to you. Honestly, like, as a player, you do want to deal with Clan Moors, but you gotta understand Queek is over here in Mount Silverspear. So you have choices. You can go into the Darklands and leave Barrack Bar to the tender mercies of the Greenskins, though they'll do pretty okay. You don't want to confederate Barrack Bar regardless. Though you gotta be concerned about Scrag, so just be aware of that. Scrag is a pain in the neck. You can go get Black Crag, that would help you with a lot of grudges, but just keep in mind travel time with respect to that. So just worth remembering that aspect over there. So the choices are up to you. So let me just toggle Fog of War and go over some of the things. Now, Tretch is very easy to deal with. You put an army with a couple of units in World Edge Archway, maybe an ambush. Tretch will rush into that, and you can auto-resolve the vast majority of them on any difficulty. So he's not really an issue. Clan Verms is not an issue, but Warzag is. Warzag and Scrag are. Queek absolutely is. So eliminating Queek early on is pretty worth it, and you can keep a Carcassol alive, give them some territory. Because one of the things you do want to do, like actually there's 2 goals you can accomplish. Hit 2 stones with 1 throw. You can get Caracay Peaks, eliminate Clan Moors, get the Grudge Seller capacity per army per +2, and at the same time restore the Undroid. From my perspective, that's worth doing more than dealing with freaking Tretch. Don't worry, we will be going into Darklands as well, but like that's my perspective. But again, you have those choices. Just don't go north. That's Ungrim stuff. Zufbar and Ungrim, like they're not your problem. They'll be fine on their own. And as expected, the Rodent showed up. Kind of at the worst moment because I had dismissed quite a few of my units. Yeah, that was not necessarily the wisest move in my area, but if Tretch does attack you, he will attack you with this kind of army. So like Clan Rats, Skaven Slaves, if he does it early on. In this case, the situation is even better because he's in Forced March. So this would be tricky, but corner camping is a freaking thing. He has no artillery, his range units are pathetic, and they don't have armor piercing, so there's little chance of him actually winning it. Kind of worth pointing out. That would be a lot of oath gold, by the way, if I fight that freaking battle manually. So I guess the decision is made for me, gentlemen. We go beat the shit out of Tretch. There is a quest battle I do have as well. What I'm gonna get here is the Arms Forge, so I'm gonna transfer a good portion of these units right there. We do get more regiments renown, and then I'm gonna start building up more stuff there. You do want to get the obstinacy over here. The other stuff, it's kind of not important, really. I mean, melee attack and leadership is like Forgrim does have a lot of good stuff. He also has a bunch of useless crap. Like, yeah, we get the leadership for a race that has one of the highest leadership benefits in the entire game. Make sure you get Rune of Wrath and Ruin. The benefit of Rune and Wrath and Ruin is that you can use it to win every siege battle, basically. If you set the battle duration to unlimited, because you can just use those. Okay, we're going to declare war on Gelt over here. Because, yes, having a war with Gelt may seem like a bad idea, but truthfully it will pay off. By the way, the units, the fact that Tretch did declare war on me when I disbanded my units, the AI will do this when they think that they're stronger than you. Because I had disbanded those units, Tretch thought that he was stronger than me. I proved him wrong. By the way, quest battles, worth going for, but you may want to time them better. Because like they can be tricky, can take some damage. But they do give you that casualty replenishment, crucially quite a lot of grudges. One of the benefits in Forgrim's campaign is that he does have 4 quest battles, so 7, 12, 17, 22. Each of these is 500 grudges. Now 500 grudges is a lot, so you may want to save 1 or 2 of them for your second Age of Reckoning. The trickiest Ages of Reckoning are always the earliest ones. Okay, so over here, you do want to get a Rat Poison the moment it becomes available, get High King Authority, and get Dwarven Grimps. That will be enough to unlock underway trade caravans, and what you want to get here is Oaths of Loyalty. Like, you only need 5, so you want to get these 3. Feign Authority and Autonomy of the Holds for the extra growth. For Forgrim, you do want to start getting Tactician. I still don't have Artillery, but I don't need any extra units right now. More regiments around are unlocked. Triangulation is fully up. Get Armor for Feigns, and get Rune of Slowness over there. Level this up, and get that gold mine, because it is pretty damn sweet. And over here, I am just going to recruit another character, a Rune Lord in this case, with Rungni. Now you gotta decide over here. What do you want? Like, do you want Thunderers, Iron Drakes, or do you want to go for Gyro Bombers? Pros and cons, yes, to be sure. So he's not at war. Like, Caracazul will almost inevitably end up in a war with Queek, but it is going to be something that takes time. Dealing with Tretch, let me say this about dealing with Tretch. It's not that Tretch is an issue, it's rather you're gonna get Chaos Dwarves surrounding your ass on all sides. Pros, though, to be sure, in dealing with him, because Tretch can pressure Caracazul, and you kind of want Caracazul to thrive so they can slow down. So they can slow down Queek. Also, I think I'm gonna do some global recruitment over here and just dismiss all of these guys, because we really don't need those anymore. So, yeah, like, if you're not gonna go for Gyro Bombers, that's the point you kind of stop, you know, and just pick up and just get a different building. But if you don't want to get Gyrocopter, sorry, obviously lots of uses from that. So over here, we're gonna declare war on some Greenskins and Bretonians, who are absolutely not going to stand a chance, because we do want that money for the sake of global recruitment. I'd say no more than 4 Gyrocopters by default would probably be kind of like the point. Don't be afraid of declaring war on the Skull Takers, because they're not really going to be any real substantial issue there. So I'm just going to get free Gyro. Actually, not quite enough money. And they are not going to accept the peace agreement so easily. He is at war with Azak. Don't get involved in that. Like, seriously, don't freaking get involved in that. It is, generally speaking, not a worthwhile trade. Also, do not ally Barak Var. Like, quite seriously. You might think allying Barak Var is a good idea. Don't, because it's really not. Like, obviously, you can declare war on their enemies and get some extra cash, but if you ally them, there's a tendency for Barak Var to declare war on Scrag, which is absolutely something that you do not want to happen in any situation. So I know I recruited a bunch of units, but that's the payoff, right? That's the price of dealing with Skarsnik early. Now, I would firmly recommend keeping your quest battles in reserve for your second Age of Reckoning, maybe even your third, depends. But I think, like, third, you should be fine, right? You should start getting rolling in a really good way. It's just the initial 2 Ages of Reckoning that are the problem. By the time, you know, 45 turns in, I'll be blunt, you should deal with Queek. Dealing with Queek gives you 2,500 grudges. Restoring the other rate, another 5,000 grudges, so like the third one, pretty meaningless. Once you're done with that, the rest of the campaign is a cakewalk from a grudge perspective. Now, of course, like what I'm doing here, like, you know, getting rid of units, yeah, probably not recommend a regular campaign, but it does mean, like, my economy is more efficient, and I'm obviously saving stuff for that, for instance. Oh boy, don't deal with Gotrek and Felix just yet, because that is, I wouldn't say it's an unwinnable battle. It's not, but like right now my army is a bit damaged. Here's the key to dealing with the Gotrek and Felix quest battle, because this is something a lot of people don't understand. The key is to make sure those heroes are dealt with. You have the ability of doing so. I would not necessarily recommend taking this particular army against them, not in its damaged state, but the principal idea, although I can get the, like, you know, Regent's Renown and just get the job done. So yeah, this is an army that can deal with that. People struggle with this, but I think a lot of people, like, it says heroic victory, but let me just resolve it and explain something. The key is to use your army ability in the Zufbar Pounders to hit one of the heroes. Your Gyro Bombers hit the other 2. Be wary of the Furies. Make sure you march your melee lords, and in this case Slayer's Hammers, into melee over there to protect Gotrek. It's not really that hard once you figure that freaking point out, right? So that gives you Gotrek and Felix, no problem, no issue. Get rid of Regiment's Renown over here. I'm gonna get rid of these guys.
You have my cooperation.
And it is like, when you get them, that's really your particular choice. From my point of view on that subject, it's like I'm just gonna march that army. Force march. So we're just gonna get another gyro bomber. And I would recommend no more than 4 thunderers in an army, and just fill up the rest with regular quarrelers. Like, that's kind of like the pristine dwarf army. Get some public order benefits over there. You know, we're starting to roll. If you're, and you know what? Once I recruit those gyrocopters, there's a firm argument to be made that getting rid of the engineer building is worth it. Although once you get it to tier 3, you'll get another engineer capacity. Ironbeard, really good, because Iron Drakes are good. Even though this army doesn't have them, it will have them soon enough with the Grudgerbearer unit. And of course, like Regiment Rena. Like I've covered what the ideal dwarf army is. It's Iron Drakes, Thunderers, Quarrelers, right? That's the ideal one. So it's basically what I'm building there. In terms of runesmiths, you do want to get things like Wordbreaker to lower enemy missile resistance, and switch over here to more empower the guilds. Also, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I still have Gorog over here, so that is giving me that experience benefit and control benefit. The income benefit, pretty meaningless, but the other stuff, yeah, that's pretty useful, I'm not gonna lie. So over here, the one thing to mention is you're kind of like on the highway to a lot of Cathayan caravans. In fact, a lot of Cathayan caravans will arrive because they're coming for you, so you can gain quite a bit of gold from that. Some people do consider cheesing the declarations of war. Personally, I couldn't care. like honestly, it's like, who gives a damn, basically. You may have to switch to venerate ancestors if a rebellion is gonna spark, but honestly, like, once you complete your first Age of Reckoning, you'll have to work pretty damn hard to actually get a rebellion. So let's move on a couple of turns. Alright, so over here, we're just about to declare war on Clan Worms. I could have gone to Karakazul to get extra money. If it's a tier 2 settlement, and it was, you can sack it for the oath gold, because you're going to get it as a tier 1 anyway, so there's no real value in just leaving it be. That's just my view on that anyway. So over here, we've got a bunch of quarrelers. I think I'm going to get 2 more quarrelers, maybe even 3, right? But we are going to get artillery, so it's like recruiting 3, kind of meaningless, so just going to get 2. Also going to switch the commandment here. Yeah, make sure to switch those commandments, because they are powerful. And over here, we could start getting some more hero capacity, but it's kind of like, until we get to tier 3, there is absolutely no priority. Now, fun fact, I can confederate either Karakazul or Barak Var. Don't. Like, seriously, of all the mistakes you can make in a campaign as the dwarves, until it gets fixed. If it gets fixed, no problem, just do it. But if I were to confederate, I'm just gonna make my life a lot harder to get things like Rumbrindle. And you know, given the quest battles I get, it is fairly easy to ensure a confederation with Rumbrindle. So don't go for it unless you're willing to lose freaking Rumbrindle. Kind of a point. Now over here, I'm not worried if this game... Worms is only gonna throw clan rats trash at you, basically. Now, what am I gonna do with the Grudgerbearer army? Ooh, this is the sweet part. Things are gonna get spicy, gentlemen. Alright, hey, Emmerich. Butcher the elf. Leave no elf alive. Well, the nice thing about the Grudgerbearer army is I can just leave it on the defensive against Razov. The problem with Tretch's territory is that it's vulnerable, right? So I can take an army that is disposable, that I don't need on the main front, because you won't. Like, the only threats are Wurzag and Tretch and Queek, and they're far away. So, far enough away that they won't really be too much of a problem. So you can reasonably go deal with that. Also, by the way, fun fact, like that army there. Not a good idea to play with that. Okay, then. That is something. Okay, let's let's see if we can reach it. No, we're kind of just out of reach. My recommendation in this situation...
Rune Lord, setting off.
Okay, so we're just gonna give those quarrelers over here.
Yes, yes. As long as we walk.
And try and set an ambush for the Skaven right there. Salmons are going higher. So yeah, that's kind of the nice thing that can happen here. And the Demon Slayer that's leading this army will have Siege Attacker. I'm just gonna loot and occupy it because... I don't really care for that right now. I do want the gold, so I'm out of money right now. But that's not really a problem.
Interesting.
And yes, he will accept the peace agreement.
Yes.
Okay, Barrack Var.
Fine.
Oof. See, that would be really tempting right there. I'm not gonna lie, but just like those kind of priorities are more important. So I'm kind of hoping the Skaven will take the bait here. They could either attack me, but now all those wonderful freaking quest battles are just available. So let's just do it. And yeah, just keep in mind you would get a lot of more oath gold. But to be honest, like oath gold, Dwarven Grims, oath gold does get to a point of kind of like not really diminishing returns, but kind of close enough. Okay, so just merge these guys together.
One rug.
Get rid of, like, is a gold rank unit, I'm gonna hate my life to a certain extent, but like getting troll hammers is so freaking worth it. I could just wait a turn though and just get another lord to move stuff around. I know I'm gonna lose on supply lines, I'm well aware of that, but it's like just totally freaking worth it. So let's just get it's an interesting question, so I could really use some... Okay.
The High King acts. The axe thirsts for war.
Yeah, let's just take... Because he doesn't necessarily... Okay.
Very well.
So these guys, I'm going to send somewhere else. Maybe build another army. You want to go for Deadeye into ballistic calibration for the engineers, by the way. Get the artillery benefits, stand your ground. So there's my artillery. Regiment's Renown. Like, you don't necessarily need a lot of artillery when you have freaking Jara bombers. Like, yeah, it would help with certain siege layouts. For him, get Skaven Slayer. Like, the benefit here is like ambush defense chance is pretty powerful. Stubborn defense over melee defense because like physical resistance. Make sure you get full plate armor for Felix, and just keep upgrading stuff. With quest battles, I've kind of staggered them out because, and just wait for this benefit to be on the verge of expiration because yeah, it's gonna be good. Okay, so let's see how this goes. So the point of that Grudge Seller army is to just, yeah, Scrag is certainly something. But yeah, Barrack Var is not worth saving. Like, okay. It's not worth confederating. It is worth saving because the AI is better at rebuilding settlements than you are because they have a ton of construction benefits, a lot of growth benefits, a lot of income benefits, upkeep benefits. So the AI is going to do the better job. So you can just like basically leave this entire province of Blood River Valley on its own. Yep. There's the freaking Skaven, as expected, showing up on time. And there's the army.
Friends of the Dowit.
You're on your own, my dude. Sorry. I'll deal with Scrag later. He's not really a priority. If I can reach this army right now, I will. Like, I really freaking will.
It is time.
Okay. So that's another grudge. That's fine.
Never saw Grimnir in a bush. Lord of Clan
Let's get rid of that.
Follow at your peril.
And start sending this army westward, eastward.
Can't do it.
Now, over here, what you want to get is more engineer stuff. And also artillery. Like, let's just start getting the artillery building right there. Okay, so we got any artillery here as well. Now, the only situation in which you'd want to immediately fight a quest battle is kind of like this, where... Okay, I can afford you one more turn. But it's kind of like that kind of situation where you want the gold right then, right then and then. There and then. Okay, get a peace agreement. So Barakvar is very much still willing to confederate. We can also take advantage of the vision we have with Carl to, yeah, get more money for him. Fleece the Empire of all its wealth and then some. Damping, pretty good stuff. And over here, yeah, we're gonna fight that quest battle. Each quest battle gives you roughly 10k gold. Okay, so like that's 3.5. So yeah, roughly 10k, or close enough that it doesn't matter. So yeah, kind of important. I generally don't like building barracks in main settlements, but your main settlement is going to get to tier 3 fastest, so that means it's mostly for the hero capacity. Like, not for the units. I don't give a shit about Longbeards, honestly. Like, if I'm being frank about it. So we can declare war on the famished. And maybe even get a peace agreement with them after.
What?
Don't get involved in this mess. And if that does happen, that is a great situation for you to be in. Declare war on Ekekla, he's not gonna freaking bother you. He's got other problems. The angry freaking dwarf. So where are we grudges-wise? We're at 4k. Grumbrindle, it's... You know, it's the flip of a die, right? Like, sometimes Grumbrindle can survive and do well, other times he's just down to his last element. Your priority, your personal priority as a player, yeah, go for this in particular. Your priority as a player is certainly to try and get him as quickly as possible, because I wish he survived better. Like, I kind of wish like they would just give him a benefit, because it's kind of annoying. It does reduce the variety a bit by having to go for Grumbrindle. But here's the thing. I cannot, like, Grumbrindle alone, even if he's completely wiped out, is always worth confederating the fast. Like, the campaign movement range he gives you, the 15% campaign movement range he gives you, is worth everything. Like, I don't care if a faction has half the freaking map, I'll still take the campaign movement range. In fact, I would probably not want to confederate the faction that has half the map. Over here, we do want to get the Slayer Shrine, because we do want to get Slayers. One of the problems in this campaign, one of the downsides, if you will, is it is going to take you longer to get access to those Slayers. I mean, obviously, regiments are renowned and all that kind of cool jazz do exist, but yeah, there's gonna be some limitations. So Black Crag is going to a higher level, Karazakarak is going to a higher level, so like we're already getting into tier 3.
It is time.
I admit I kind of derped out on that. You don't need a whole lot of artillery. Honestly, you can do an entire dwarf campaign without artillery. Oh, but what about sieges? Just park your freaking quarrelers in a part and use your gyrocopters to deal with anything that's on the walls. They're pretty decent at it. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, although, like, I'm kind of in this situation where I just screw sieges because I fucking hate them and I win them easily, even if I fight them manually. I'm kind of wondering, the bombs of the gyrocopters, don't they damage walls? I mean, they probably won't destroy a wall, but, you know, possibilities. Yeah, that's happening. I expect it. I'm gonna just keep drinking to victory. I mean, that's a decent amount of oath gold, but I don't need it right now. Okay, what next, gentlemen? What freaking next? Well, we send this army over here to these. Like, this campaign is effectively in a stage, like, I've won it, more or less. So, like, in a really, really good stage. So we just force march over here. Barakvar is effed. Like, really. Gotta feel bad for Barakvar, right? Actually, we'll just
Summon
send
me
this
if you
army,
dare.
this lord over
By
here
the
to the north.
Grudgebearer's will. Very well.
Move Forgrim
From
south.
there
We'll
is move.
force march with him later,
For
but
the wisdom
for
of
now,
Valea. Good.
we do want to deal with
Grimnir's
the
axe
quest battle that he
first.
does have.
Ha-ha.
This is an ambush battle, but it's like, it's vampires, like this is a joke of an army to throw against freaking Forgrim. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Forgrim could solo that.
Retake the realms.
Okay, solo it maybe with heroes, but still, I get the damn point.
The ancestors
Now,
agree.
you just need to do 2 legendary grudges. So basically, once you deal with Quake, GG. Underway trade caravan. Just keep moving this army. Now, again, like, it's gonna depend here, like, based on what you've decided to do, if Trench has declared war on you. But, like, you could just do what I did, like, you know, just deal with the situation, and then send that Grudge Seller army to tackle it. Your Grudge Seller army is the strongest Grudge Seller army that any faction has from the very beginning of your campaign.
Let's march.
So that ends up being a pretty damn
Follow it.
substantial benefit, not gonna lie. Yeah, let's just get some
My
Slayers.
throne seeks only death.
Okay.
The High King acts. Good.
Gotrek just gets
Grimnir's axe first.
training. You
Send me
can
to
basically
vengeance.
use Gotrek as a Feign, so you can, like, Feigns, yeah, kinda. Like, Barakvar is wiped out, but we can resurrect them. Like, that's a thing, by the way. Like, you can resurrect them and let them deal with this. You do need the province for the grudge anyway, so not really an issue. Alright, so if they wiped these guys out, yeah, I'll just resurrect them. They'll still have their faction leader and all that jazz, so yeah.
True. Agreed.
Ooh, Scarson. Like, this is the problem in making guides. This is kind of the issue. So, one of the problems that you do have as a player when making these kind of guides is the following. You cannot predict which factions are going to get the faction potential and which are not. By the way, I can actually, like, the Slayers over here of the Grudge Seller army do count, so if I were to pick up 2... Okay, so I just need to wait for these guys to respawn. And yeah, I need the Giant Slayer, which is gonna take a bit more. The one problem that Forgrim can have is it takes them the longest in a lot of ways to get to the giants, to get to the Dragon Slayers for replenishment. Well, but you can argue, well, don't the others still need tier 3? Yeah, but Fork starts with the tier 2 settlement, Grumbrindle starts with the tier 2 settlement, and has casualty replenishment out of his ass anyway, and it gets Gotrek and Felix. So, like, Grumbrindle doesn't have that problem. Ungrim starts with them, Malachi starts with them, or very close to it. Belagar, yeah, he takes a while, but again, he starts with a tier 2 minor settlement, so if he really wants it, he can get it. Like, that's not the problem in Belagar's campaign, I can tell you. So yeah, Forgrim, oh, Karakazul, what have you done, my dude? That is painful. That is not nice at all. So yeah, get wrecked over there, I guess, by Karakazul. It's not really a problem, but that is one of the risks, and like, that's one of the reasons you may not want to go for Trench as quickly as possible. Because, yeah, you can easily defeat Trench. You can easily defeat Trench at any point. But if you ignore this kind of situation, like, I can just build a barracks over here, right, before they get... Or maybe take one, because they might have one. Yeah, they do have one. So I could just take that settlement. And instead of resurrecting Barakvar, I could just... Well, I could still resurrect Barakvar, but maybe later, right? So that's a thing. So what's the situation we got, grudge-wise? So at this point, I'm kind of really happy that Barakvar has ended up in this situation, because, like, that's 1k grudges that I'm just gonna gain right there. No problem. Quick has taken care of K-Pigs. Freaking quick. Fun stuff. Or I could, yeah, I can get that settlement later on by taking the provincial capitals, capital in the balance. Oh yeah, absolutely, like I can do that, no problem. So at this point, Forgrim's going to deal with Queek. Queek does have multiple armies, and he isn't necessarily a joke. Is Warzak at war with Karakazul? That is the question. But at this point, you get into the territory where it's like randomization. Drazov could declare war on me. Greenskins in the Darklands can declare war on me. Azak might be beating Ungrim. So you gotta react to that. I would not necessarily prioritize saving Ungrim, because it's like, it would be great if he defeated him, undeniably so, but it's not really a priority. Karakadrin, if it falls, it's just kind of whatever, right, in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously you would want it not to fall, AI benefits with all that, but still. Okay, in minor settlements, you do want to go for the trading depot, though over here we do want that extra growth from the landmark, so just keep that in mind. Who is he at war? He's at war. I'll let him do that. Like, I'll genuinely let him do that, and yeah, we got Elspeth Vision. Okay, so let's see. So Grumbrindle's still alive, but he isn't along for this world at this rate. But if we deal with this, it will be a lot of grudges and probably complete the Age of Reckoning right here and there.
We can hold this.
Okay, yeah, that's sorted it out. Didn't get the barracks, but I mean, Warzak is just gonna solve that for me, so no problem. Fun fact, Warzak is actually gaining a lot of grudges. Cannons are coming online. So we're just gonna move over here, this particular lord. And I wanna move this army into Mount Greyhag. I could even use this army if I'm, you know, willing to risk it. I could send that army to capture an entire province. How you use your Grudge Seller army, it really depends. Like, are you good enough to take minimal casualties with it, especially in a siege? Yeah, use it. Like, go on the offensive. It's actually a very strong army. But if you're not, like, I do tend to use it more conservatively in the guides than I should. Like, if I'm playing a proper campaign, I would be very aggressive with it. But like here, it's like some people are gonna be better with using it than others. I think, like, I'm not particularly happy with the way it works, because, like, yeah, it's like it's such a power trip if you do use it well, but at the same time, like, if you lose too many units in a single battle with that, that's done in a single turn. So it's like that's the reason I don't really use it, because, like, I can achieve more here. Okay, so we're not really in the greatest position with respect to money, but yeah. I declare war on Azak, but I'm not sure I want to yet. Okay. We could declare war on those, but I'm a bit concerned about that. Okay. Well, he didn't wipe them out.
Welcome, ancient allies.
All right, declare war on. I'm surprised the Black Venom is still alive, honestly. Elspeth doesn't start at war with them, but she should really wipe them out, honestly. Okay, don't be afraid of declaring war on factions in Cafe, because it's like, whatever. Okay. So over here we just want some Iron Drakes. Same idea. You can get Troll Hammer, Torpedo, Iron Drakes. Not really an issue. So right now, really good position is campaign, turn 20, and it is effectively over. So hope you all learned some things watching this video. I mean, it's gonna vary at this particular point. Scrag is coming. It's gonna start varying a lot by this particular point. Holy crap, he have a lot of grudges. I think, while I do not want to necessarily fight Scrag, I think I could get really to the point where I can get Grumbrindle really at that point. Like, if I deal with that, deal with the army that Warzak has, maybe deal with some other stuff as well, that would put me in an amazing situation. I could probably just get Grumbrindle. Again, like, I guess, like, maybe that's one of the things you have to factor in. How do I maximize my grudge output? Not because I need it for an Age of Reckoning, but because I want it.
I thought I smelt earth.
Yeah, that's happening. So I'm gonna need another army. Cannons are coming online, gentlemen, not to worry. And even if the Greenskin take a settlement, it's like, it's even more grudges, so let's go with that. Stupid idea, Scrag. Stupid freaking idea. Okay, what's the situation over here? Still very close. Not quite there yet. Not quite there, but very, very close. You want to get the trading depot and these kind of settlements. I wonder if that's going to be enough. I do hope it is. So how close are we? Not there just yet, but almost. Almost. That, like, this might be a more dangerous army, but like greenskins will typically fight, but that is not a challenge. And there we go. 22 turns, we got Grumbrindle. Always go for Grumbrindle. Like, that's not freaking just. Maybe I should make a guide for Grumbrindle. Like, okay, you're probably not gonna get Grumbrindle instantly, but because like he's gonna be wounded, but like his special skill line is so freaking significant. I don't know if I can be Malekith with this, but grudge sellers, can't underestimate them. Just gonna say that much. And yeah, regiments are known, emergency recruitment. So yeah, that might do it. And with Grumbrindle under our control, we're in a substantially better position over there. Declare war on the Skaven, so yeah, get some money. Because we're losing a bit. So the campaign is won. Let's just say
Keep up. Doom's awaiting.
Okay. Right. So. But yeah, at this point, just gonna steamroll south, deal with Queek, one army at a time. Get these territories and sell them to Karakazul for this one. Rebellions might become a problem here, but not really a big priority right now. So yeah, I could also take this army. Like, their whole purpose is to play defense. You shouldn't be worried too much about, like, dwarves have great vigor even if they're in force march, so like force march is not really, like, they'll be tired, but it's not really a problem, right? These guys, like, they've got, like, dwarf units do pretty well in terms of like combat ability even if they're tired. And if you get an army with like artillery and like, you'll, with this kind of size, you'll typically get at least an Iron Drake and likely a Trollhammer. You may not get it, but you'll likely get some artillery and Iron Drakes. And those Iron Drakes are pretty freaking nasty, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie in that point in this campaign. So, what do you do after? I'd probably recommend Belegar or Ungrim. Depends on, you know, how Ungrim is dealing. If Ungrim is winning against Azak, don't bother with him. But if he's losing, or if you just want, or if he's close to winning but not quite there, Confederate Ungrim, not because he's useful, but because he gives you that underrate. Though getting Malachi's freaking power in your campaign with his Horde army would be exceptional in itself as well. Costin signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications. Stay tuned for more, ladies and gentlemen.